Welcome to Renovating Real Estate. I am Sandy McMaster. Each week here, we renovate the way real estate operators think, decide, and most importantly, execute. We do that using the identity ops method because most agents and brokers, sadly, don't operationalize what truly makes them different. We're on a mission to change that. Today, we're talking about the relationship trap. How could there be a trap in relationships? Oh, we're going to talk about it. That's when relationships actually keep you from choosing a business model. So if you are an agent who says, my business is relational, this one's for you. And if you're a broker and you see your agents being very busy, but inconsistent, this one's for you too. Let's get into it. Well, I hate to admit it, but the reason I know so much about this is because I did this. Sadly, I have a firsthand account. I had a front row seat to what relational looks like when it quietly stops working. That was me for many years. My weeks used to be full of community events, coffees, the right conversations, and yet none of them seemed to be converting cleanly. I was networking, but I wasn't really asking anything specific. I was staying in touch, but not really directing the consumer what to do or where to go. I was building community, but not building the business I wanted. So with time, way too much time, in my opinion, the reason I sit in front of a podcast mic today is to save somebody else some time. But with time, I realized relational can become, not in everybody, but relational can become professional procrastination. I say this with love. It can be a place to hide. That doesn't feel very good, does it? But it's true. If privately your strategy is, I'm a good person and people will send me business, that's not a model. That's hope. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just true. And the sneaky part is you can feel super productive while avoiding commitment. And commitment means choosing what you're optimizing for, plus building repeatable behavior. That second part's pretty important. So let's name the three models very briefly and clearly, because clarity, especially when you're trying to be a solopreneur, clarity creates power. It creates focus. So I've coined these three dominant business models in real estate: transactional, relational, and identity-based. And you can absolutely borrow tactics across them, but you cannot avoid the responsibility of owning one of them, because you have to own the trade-offs and the responsibilities that come with each model. Because if you're constantly floating, you're diluting. You're diluting your focus, you're diluting your time, you're diluting your money, you're diluting your marketing efforts, all the things. But before we get into it, let's briefly talk about each model. So first up, transactional. Transactional, honestly, it's simple math. More contacts equals more transactions. More conversations equals more transactions. More appointments equals more transactions. So more of everything. Appointments, conversations, all of it, it's just math, right? Now the cons of operating in a transactional model, it can feel empty. There can be a lack of meaning. There can be a lack of fulfillment. And you need to have pretty thick skin because, a lot of people are going to be telling you no. So you have to be able to accept rejection. You have to be able to have a pretty high tolerance for that and just move through it and move on. And some people have built absolutely brilliant business models based on that. And you know what? Hey, some people love the idea of, hey, it's just not that deep. Simplicity. There's a trade-off. That's simple, um, but maybe not so easy to do in practice when every day is filled with that kind of rejection. So, next up on the models, let's talk about relational. So transactional, simple math, just think of it that way. Relational. The relational model, most agents say they run. And I think it's probably the overarching model that most brokerages try to teach and start off new agents with. They may describe this, you'll hear it from a lot of agents, I work by referral. And what they mean is, I enjoy being liked, known, trusted, remembered, and referred. And that sounds pretty great. It's pretty attractive. And in real estate, no question, relationships matter. No matter what model you work, but relationships without a decision, well, that can drift. You're staying in touch, but you're not really directing. You're networking, but not asking. You're busy, but not profitable. And here's the key. Most brokers won't say, most agents don't want to admit, a relational model will absolutely skew transactional or identity-based. It's going to skew one way or another. The real danger is living in this undefined gray area where people drift between running a profitable business and a popularity contest. So let's talk about the third model. That would be the one that I graduated to. And once I did it and understood it, I took it upon myself to actually create the methodology underneath of it so that I could teach other people, identity-based. And this is where we make contacts count. Identity-based is meaning, it is language, it is reputational gravity. It's when somebody thinks, oh, you're that person. Of course I'd call you, because they're very clear on what your offer is. It's distinctive work. It's a clear point of view. It's visible standards, repeatable messaging. It's not branding as aesthetics. It's identity as earned clarity because it's authentically you. That sounds great, right? But there's a cost. The cost is specificity. You've got to choose, and this is the biggest one, you've got to risk being not for everyone. Now, in the transactional model, it doesn't matter who you are. In the relationship model, you want to be for as many people as possible. In the identity-based model, it is the opposite. You have to be okay, probably saying no more than yes, and you have to be okay staking a claim. So why does this matter now more than it did 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, even a year ago? I might even say even a week ago, because the market is getting super noisy. AI is here. Consumers are more skeptical. AI is going to amplify the best and the worst of everything. So the vague promise, I work hard, I care, it doesn't create demand anymore. You're going to get lost. So I really love drawing parallels between different worlds. And in the economic world, if you follow the economy at all, you've heard that we're experiencing what they've described or coined as a K-shaped economy. Think of the shape of a K, and one arm goes up and one arm goes down in the K. So you've got basically the haves getting heavier and the have-nots getting have-naughtier. Not funny, but K-shaped economy. In my estimation, we could say the same about our agent population. Call it K-shaped agency. There's basically going to be, in my personal opinion, two winners. There's going to be transactional machines, or there's going to be agents and brokerages with identity gravity. And the middle, the relational, is going to get punished by being sort of the messy in the middle gray area. Nobody's going to be able to even find you or hear you. So, to put it very plainly, you either count contacts or make contacts count. That is making this whole new era as simple as I possibly can. That's really the ultimate choice that I would leave with you guys. And either choice falls squarely into the category of simple, not easy. There's transactional hard, and there is identity hard. But the relational hard is so sneaky because it's the never knowing. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. That anxiety tax that you have 5 coffees set up and you don't know. You're hoping something works out. Wow. I get it. I know that life. Don't wish it on anybody. So making a choice, while hard, it is necessary. And clarity, honestly, is kindness to yourself. You have a life outside of real estate. Go live it. And if you make these choices, you can. So how do you diagnose what you're actually running? Let's do just a couple of quick questions. Here's 3 questions for agents. If you disappeared for 30 days, would your lead flow continue? Question number 2. If someone referred you today, could they clearly say why they're referring you? Something other than, oh, they're nice. Question number 3, do you have a repeatable way of generating opportunities, or are you just relying on being remembered? You happen to catch the mailbox at the right time. Brokers, I'm not leaving you out. Or if you're a team leader, here's 3 questions for you. Do your agents have a model, or are they just randomly choosing activities and doing them? Question number 2, are we training skills, or are we building conviction and having standards? Are we training skills? Here's how to make a phone call. Here's how to do that. And it's like a smattering of everything. Or are you building a plan? Are you giving them models with standards? I think that's important. And lastly, question number 3 for team leads or brokers. Are we producing consistency, or are we hoping culture just carries performance? So let's land this plane with one decision. The point here is that one model is not morally superior. I am not here to tell you which one's right or wrong. My point is that clarity creates power. Busy is not the goal. Predictable is. And plus, you want a business you can trust and enjoy. So here's your move for the next week. Decide. Decide. If the relational trap is real, then the next move is choosing a model and building the discipline to live inside it. If this lands with you guys, pick one. Just pick one of those models and think about it for the next 24 hours. Maybe journal about it. I'm not sure. But write down some of your thoughts. Maybe have a conversation with somebody you trust. Send this to them. Have a conversation about it. And of course, as always, you can read the full essay in Substack and the tools behind it. You can find this at identityops.co. Or you can just Google Sandy McMaster, sandymcmaster.com. And other than that, I wish you the kind of relationships that don't make your business, because it's nice to have relationships outside of real estate. You don't have to go mining for relationships, you can just keep those for your own personal enjoyment. Until next week, talk then.